Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for taking the time to stop by and talk about GameStop with me today. Nothing really going on for us. We're down 1.6% on the day. Yeah, basically just trading sideways for the last couple days. And we made, oh, I should delete that. That was actually for a couple friends there on the Magic stream. Now, if you're interested, I do play Magic the Gathering every single day of my life for, the past 6 years now. So stop by, play a match. We'd love to have you. However, we might consolidate, on this bottom trend line for, the next 40 days potentially. Of course, that is subject to change. And what we're going to be watching for is, first of all, a 15-minute reversal, which we've kind of had a couple times. you know, reversal one, reversal two, reversal three on the 21 and 50 exponential moving averages. Now, after an extended run, this is what I use for a reversal signal. The 15-minute EMA reversal, pairing it with a key level breakout, which is the price reclaiming and basing above the 200 exponential moving average. At which point we can kind of zoom out, and now we're looking at our 1 hour chart, and the 50 exponential is basically the same as the 200 on the different time frames, but the same concept here, where we want the EMAs to reverse, the 21 on the 50, just on the larger time frame, of course, and then we're going to try to challenge for a possible rejection, or if we're lucky, an invalidation of the bearish order block from a couple days prior here. Of course, if we can reclaim and base above the 200 as well, that's fine. I'd love to see it. And this is, looking for that reversal, right? Of course, we are subject to just consolidate on our lower trend line for potential months at a time while we wait for earnings to come into play. Now, whether or not we have a big surprise beat on earnings or not, that's going to be up for discussion in the days, more months and weeks coming, as that is still, 50 days away, and they've not announced it yet. We're still waiting on that. And then, probably consolidating on the bottom trend line here for some time, but if not, looking for those reversals. And of course, I'm also, let me just save that quick, looking for a 4-hour PMO reversal here. And then the same thing on the 1 day, right? So the 1 day is still bullish, but it's, coming back to being bearish pretty aggressively here. So if this can flip and we do reverse and we don't just consolidate, maybe we can save the 1 day signal. If not, maybe we whipsaw back a couple times on the 4-hour while the 1 day does retrace and gather its steam again. So it seems like we've bottomed here. And then we can maybe curl back towards our signal line, at which point we have the reversal and we can challenge our moving average PMO, right? And look for another bullish cross here. And that, again, would save the 1 day signal, because we are barreling towards bad news bears here, at which, if we don't reverse back bullish and we do continue to consolidate, this is going to flip bearish. And then, that's probably the sign that we will have an extended period of consolidation on our trend line here, right? Aside from that, GameStop's basically exactly where it needs to be, trending with the market. I love to line GameStop up on its bottom trend line to compare it with the SPX, and you can see, we're basically right at parity here, so that's fine. 4.97 versus 4.31, that's as close as it's going to get. Our negative momentum is starting to slow, but is still there, unfortunately. And then our RSI, is maybe showing signs of bottoming out, right? Still downtrending. I'd like to see a retest of that downtrend, and then maybe eventually a breakthrough, at which point, things are looking bullish again moving forward. So, not really a lot to talk about on the technical side of things. However, we've got some tinfoil for you guys today. The $3 a share was only on 12 volumes, so you're going to see people yelling about that. That's an absolute nothing burger. I find it kind of crazy, and this is like something that I've noticed on Twitter specifically. People are in a suit, a tuxedo, they've got a doctor, PhD in their name, and then they make these crazy, outlandish posts that anyone, who put 2 seconds of thought into it would realize that it's irrelevant. Um, so, they're saying, oh, it's a swap volume from 5 years ago, and it's like, someone just sold shares thinking that they're warrants. It was just a mistake, a fat finger. Um, Womp womp womp. 12 volumes, nothing, right? So that's not indicative of anything, in my opinion, other than a mistake. So, people figure it out. And, the crazy thing is that the professional, the person presenting this information, doesn't even look at it first. They just put together this crazy theory to farm clout and get the clicks. And, it looks bad for the community as a whole. So we don't like that. Um, okay, so I know I'm saying don't like the tinfoil, but I've got some, right? This is the craziest thing I've seen in my 5 years here. Um, so you remember the spectrogram of the picture hidden in the audio that was the hang in there poster? This is giving me flashbacks of that, right? Where on Robinhood, and I don't see this in my broker. I don't see it on TradingView. I don't see it in Quest Trade posting it on Robinhood. Sure. Um, yeah, there's nothing more coincidental than that, right? That is insane. What the hell? So, coincidence? Yes, but it does, like I said, remind me of the spectrogram where there was the hanging there cat in the audio, right? Um, so very interesting, So we're just gonna keep an eye on that. It is what it is. So trying to have at least some fun with it, and not just strictly misinterpreting base information, which it's still nothing, but it's fun. Um, the short is back up here on. If you go short volume, we were trending downwards, and I was hoping it was going to go lower, 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 but we're back up 40%, 47%. So the warrants are being shorted, which is unfortunate. GameStop's got about 4.5 million volume, so down. We were doing 10, 11 million consistently. Where did the volume go? And 5 million is what we'd like to see on those dry days. And unpopular opinion here, but we want low volume days. The lower the volume and the longer of a period of low volume there is, the more of an imbalance there will be in the order book when volume hits, right? And that's where you really get the moments of price improvement in short periods of time. And short percentage is up, utilization is up as you'd expect, cost to borrow is flat, available shares is up. 2027 $5 puts are still chilling, right? They're not going anywhere, so we're keeping an eye on those day to day for you guys as well. We have the Suisse USB drama where the courts are saying, the bailout was unlawful and we want people to reverse it, which is kind of crazy. And then, just to recap, if you weren't here, you weren't around, they did it on a weekend, which was crazy, and then, sealing the records of that for some time. They it's just coincidental, I suppose. So we'll see how this unfolds. I would assume that they've kind of figured it out. They understand that the situation that they put themselves in, or were put in, I guess, by others, and they are unappreciative of it. And if you watched Pal's speech today, he was talking about how the market, could be subject to some severe volatility moving forward. And it's kind of like they're starting to paint the walls for us, if you will. So that's going on. What else did we have? That's it, I think. We don't really have much today. Oh, I had a question for you guys today because we're always, I've got you guys on the book. If you don't have it, even if you don't trade options, it's still helpful to know. It's still going to increase your stock market knowledge base, and that's good for those of you who want to learn and increase your portfolio because it is a strategic investment, of course. Chapter 25 is on leaps, right? And so I do have a little bit of a question. For an at-the-money option, the longer the remaining life, the blank the options delta. So hit me up in the comments with the fill-in-the-blank answer there one more time. For an at-the-money option, the longer the remaining life, or theta, right? The blank the options delta, right? So let me know in the comments what the answer is for that, and we'll go over it in the next video if no one gets it. Of course, well, we'll do it either way to just highlight the correct answer. And, maybe let's work this into the videos where we're assigning some homework, right? And then we come back and we discuss it. We do a little quiz, and, it's the commitment to furthering our development of, options knowledge, and we can have some fun doing it as a community, right? So even for myself, it's a great way to recap, because it's a 1,000-page book. It's 1,069 pages in this bad boy. So it's, I've read it a couple times now, skipped over, irrelevant parts. Some parts aren't specific to me, but some parts are very specific and have honestly changed my life, which is fantastic. And, this community at large, to be honest, and I'm sure I'm not the only one there. So, again, for an at the money option, the longer the remaining life, the blank, the options delta will be. So let me know that, and if there's anything I can incorporate into the videos, hit me up as well. I've been a little bit lax on the comments. I'm going to go through those maybe tonight or tomorrow and get all caught up, as it's a new balance, right? I've not been doing these in-depth reviews. I can't just look at the price at night and close it off and go do my other stuff, right? But now we're very much on the pulse day to day, looking at the available data and doing our technical analysis for everyone here. So, if you're looking to buy, try to pick it up on, this lower trend line. We very much could visit it. If you don't have a holding yet, you don't have any risk, it may be appropriate to dollar cost average it, right? You don't have to buy 100% here because, maybe you get a deal on it, right? But you could, commit some funds to the cause, and, if it goes down, you can average in. And then if you get the confirmed reversal, then you say, oh, you know what? It's time to just throw the rest in there as well, right? So, make the most out of it. It's a really good opportunity. The risk reward here is fantastic for common shares. Now, for the longer term calls, sure, you want to pick up some leaps on the low. That's fine. IV is like all-time low, which is brutal, and that's okay, right? However, I personally like to wait for the reversal signal, the confirmation entry, before I go long on any options, as they are quite sensitive time-wise, specifically, unless you're buying those long-term 2-year leaps. So that's what we've got. Nice buys on the green zone, and we're going to maybe consolidate for some time. While we do that, we're waiting for the reversal signal, and then it is the options chain that really moves the price of GameStop. I understand that's an unpopular opinion with many people because they don't want to learn the options to understand how it's doing that, but it does, and we're going to wait for that reversal signal, at which point we're back into the options chain, looking at the open interest day to day, and seeing how that can guide us forward. So just chilling. Thank you all so much. Have a magical day, and I'll see you all back here again tomorrow. Take care.